Hello, I'm Dr. Denise Thornley-Brown, and I'd like to welcome you to today's discussion about transplantation. And today our focus is going to be on kidneys. Nationwide, there are more than 90,000 men, women, and children who are waiting for a kidney transplant. At UAB, there are about 1,200 people on the waiting list, and 68% of those on the waiting list at UAB are African American. Did you ever wonder what it's like to be waiting for a kidney transplant? Well, our guest today will provide some answers. I'm really delighted to welcome Bianca McKinney, who's here to share her story. Bianca, thank you so much for coming and welcome to the discussion.
You're welcome. Hey.
Hey! So why don't you start by telling us a bit about your story? How did you find out that your kidneys weren't working well and that you would need dialysis or a kidney transplant?
Was really kind of like twofold. They told me I was gonna have to go on dialysis, and I had the initial surgery in February of 2012, and then I had another surgery in May 2012 with a fistula. Honestly, I don't think I really took it serious. I didn't know it was that serious, and it also wasn't explained to me how serious it was. So I was kind of like in between, and then basically, I'll never forget, I started feeling really sick on my mom's birthday. I was actually out in the wilderness on a job trip, and I came back, and I was just like, okay, I can't go to the doctor. I can't go to the ER on my mom's birthday. It was the 27th of July. I can't go. So I said at midnight, that's when I'm going to go. I just felt like I was going to ruin my mom's birthday if I went to the ER. And I went to the ER, and they was like, because I couldn't breathe. It was like I hardly couldn't walk. And the first treatment they gave me was that about 12 o'clock on the 28th, that noon. It's like, we're going to have to go ahead and start dialysis. After maybe the first treatment that Saturday, and definitely by the second treatment that Monday, I was feeling so much better. As far as my breathing, as far as just overall, I was feeling better, and that was only with 2 treatments. And afterwards, they set me up with the dialysis clinic, the Vita Crown, and that's why I've been going ever since like the 2nd or 3rd of August 2012.
Some folks would say, hey, we've got dialysis. Why pursue a kidney transplant? Why not just stay on dialysis?
Because even though dialysis is now, it's not going to be forever. That's the way I feel. And it's goals that I'm accomplishing and that I want to accomplish. And even though dialysis is helping me, I would like to be off of dialysis while I accomplish those goals, because honestly, going to nursing school, that's going to really be another full-time job. Been trying to have a full-time job already, then going to dialysis, and then going to nursing school. That's just a lot.
Tell us about the journey. How do you get on the waiting list? How did that go? What was that process like?
That's another story.
Good.
My cousin Jessie, she actually told me, she was like, we were at a restaurant, and she rubbed my arm, because she's also a dialysis nurse as well, and she rubbed my arm because I guess she saw it, pumping, the fistula pumping, and she was like, well, when are you gonna get on the list? And I was like, list? And she was like, yeah. And I asked the doctor, and she was just like, they set me up with the list, even though it's a wait to get on the list, but when you it's a wait before you actually have the evaluation. But when you have the evaluation, they check everything, and they tell you what you need and what you need to stop doing, what you need to start doing. And I mean, I really think it's a cool process, and not just medically, financially as well, what you would need financially, what to expect after the transplant, what to expect if they do call you for a transplant, what to do while you're on the waiting list to get a transplant. So it's really full circle, and the evaluation is really, really helpful, because it lets you know, and it lets you have some kind of idea of what to expect.
And so then one day you get this letter or this phone call that you're on the list. How did that feel?
I was so happy. I was so happy. And my husband, he was like, why are you screaming, what's wrong with you? And I just had to show him, and yeah, I was so happy. And actually, once I got called for a backup transplant. Mm-hmm. I was a backup to someone, and the other guy, I was praying for him because it seemed like he had been on it way longer than me, and I was just gonna be a backup. And with the backup, if it didn't work out for him, they want to try me. And he just seemed so prepared. He had everything down pat. I'm like, it's probably not his first rodeo with coming to maybe have a transplant. And he actually, everything worked out for him. Everything worked out for him, and I was so happy.
You're happy for him.
Yes, I'm happy for everybody who got a transplant. I really do. And I don't think it's an envy thing with me, because I know when it's my time, and who's the perfect donor for me, it's gonna be the perfect donor.
As you know, August is National Minority Donor Awareness Month. What would you say to listeners or people who are watching this webinar who are still undecided about whether to become an organ donor?
I would say, listen, go for it. It may not be for a family member. It may not be for a friend, but it's going to be for someone. And that someone, you never know. You may change their life. And with changing their life, that may change their life, their perspective on life, their maybe even a career change for them. So I would say, go for it. And you never know, you might need one day.